Hey guys, this is Vorian from the Paladin Journal, and welcome back to my first video after a huge gap of 8 months, 9 months, however long it's been. And I know I've been completely absent from the channel for that period, but we are back. And as you can see behind me, I've got something special in mind for you guys for this first return video. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to open some of the action figures that I've gotten recently. And these action figures, as you can see behind me, they are some of the ones that are near and dear to my heart, and I'll go in detail why that is in the video. And just stick around, and we'll get to it soon. But just a bit of a heads up, this is going to be the first in a new series that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be covering a lot of different action figures, although my collection is very small at the moment. It's limited to some of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures. It's limited to some of the G.I. Joe and Cobra figures from Hasbro, and it has maybe a little bit hanky-panky here and there, some weird collaborations or whatever. We'll go into that in a future video. But what I really want to talk about is two of the characters and two of the figures that have been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. And just stick around for the jump, and we'll get to it soon. Cheers. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I have two action figures from G.I. Joe, and on the left is a retro cardback Flint, and on the right is a retro cardback Lady Jaye. And before them you can see I have some of the original 3.75 inch 1980s action figures as well. The 3.75 inch special range that kicked off the whole mania, and it has like a 40 plus year history now. And the reason that I'm showing you these guys is because these two, Flint and Lady Jaye, are characters I've adored ever since I first got these guys, and ever since I read the comics, which actually was in the mid 2000s. That's the first time I started reading the comics, in like 2006. I had no idea the comics existed. I only knew about the action figures growing up in the 90s. And it was just an amazing time. Now, it was I do want to say that when I started reading the comics and I found out that Flint and Lady Jaye were actually a couple, I was pretty stoked, because whenever I used to play with these two as a kid, I always imagined they were a couple. So it was a nice bit of validation as a kid. And I got these figures recently, and the retro cardback ones, they're fairly new, having been launched only like I think 6 or 7 years ago is when the classified range launched from Hasbro. And while the 6-inch scale does throw me off at times, it's just not a scale that I'm familiar with at all. I'm used to the old He-Man figures and these old G.I. Joe figures, and nothing in between or bigger or small than that. So anyways, I got these recently, and I wanted to match them because there are versions of both that don't come with the retro card back. And it was really special for me to, have these two together in this format, especially to go with, as you can see, the 3.75 inch figures. Now there's two Lady Jays that you can see there. The brighter green, the one in the middle between the three figures, that's my original one. If you see a little bit closer, you can see that she's actually missing her thumbs, unfortunately. Can it focus? Not sure. There we go. She's missing her thumbs, which is really sad, because she used to be one of my favorite figures ever as a kid. And the one with the more drab green, that's the one I got last year from somewhere else on the internet, because she was coming with her accessories, which I had lost ages ago. I would love to get a different Flint as well. If I can find one that has the accessories, I would be willing to pay extra for it, as I did with that Lady Jaye, but it's definitely worth it. So anyways, what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and I want to unbox each of these two figures, the Flint and the Lady Jaye, and just talk about what's in the kit, and just what my initial reactions are going to be. I have had Classified for a while. I have opened a few of them. I've gotten some that are already open secondhand, but this is the first time I'm going to be doing a proper video on this. So please bear with me. I haven't really done this kind of thing before. So, just be patient and let's get into it. Alright, so I've unboxed the little guy, and as you can see, there's quite a few accessories, including a stand right here, which I think is pretty neat because sometimes it can be difficult to get these guys to stand up on a display, and I've definitely had that problem before. So these are really good. I wish I could get a whole lot more so I could have some of my other guys also stand on these bases, so they don't keep falling over every single time. Now I'm gonna take the figure out of the plastic because the plastic isn't wanting to stay on its own. So we're gonna do that, and just give me a second. So let's see. Yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a challenge. Ooh, that's really tight. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna take all the components out and then I'll restart the film. Alright, so he's unboxed and I've put all his accessories on him. And I have to say, it's a really, really cool figure. The face is a little something that I'm unsure about. It seems a little too at rest maybe, or it's like he wants to smile or something, which I don't think quite fits him. It should be a little bit more stern, I feel. But other than that, I think the articulation on him is pretty great, and his gun, yep, the gun is pretty solid. It's not wobbly like I've heard that some figures tend to have because of some quality control issues, although they may be solved by the time this guy has come out a few weeks ago. And he looks so damn good. I personally think he looks pretty damn good. I wish his greens, especially on the chest straps, they weren't as drab as the rest of the green that you can see there. So he kind of mirrors more his 3.75-inch version, but I think he looks pretty damn good still. It does have a unifying effect, and it doesn't seem that it really hurts the model. So it's just a personal preference to more match the figure that I already have from my childhood. And his cap, it's not as slanted as it should be, because these caps I've seen in various movies, comics, whatever, they tend to be a little bit more slanted, but this one it's not. But that's fine with me. Some of the hand options that he comes with, they are pretty damn good, and you can do a variety of poses with them, which is always good. You can actually have him with his gun in either left or right hand, which I think is pretty cool. And getting into classified and getting all these extra goodies with a figure, I've always found a little bit confusing because I'm not quite sure what to do with them, because I haven't really had a chance to ever sit down and play with them as I used to do with the original shorter figures, which was quite a lot, especially with all the vehicles and stuff that you have. But it's a bugbear of mine that the classified figures, the vehicles that you can get, they are so damn expensive. But something to keep in mind for a special day like my birthday, which is coming up in a few months, can keep it for that. But overall, yeah, I really like this Flint, and I think he's pretty cool. He's gonna stand out in the collection, and it's something I've wanted for a good long while, ever since I first got into classified with this the Prophet Director Destro like 4 years ago or whatever it is. And I just love this guy. Just the range of the articulation on these figures, it really gets me how good it is. And okay, I don't want to bend the guy too much, but yeah, see, you can do that. It's so cool, man. It mirrors what we used to have, and certainly, in this scale, these guys look pretty damn cool because now it's actually imposing, and now all these old figures that I have, they're getting very loose. They're not as easy to have standing upright, which it's not a problem with these guys, and especially when they come with these bases. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unbox my Lady Jaye, and then we're going to talk about that as well. All right, so just hang on, and we'll do that after the jump. Alright guys, we're back, and Lady Jaye has been unboxed, and I have to say that right from the get-go, I don't find it to be as solid as a figure as Flint right there. She is a little bit looser, and it makes it for a little bit of a weird experience, I have to say. It's just a little surprising that, because I would have preferred a little bit more stiffness in the model, but like on the legs and just the torso, they are they're rotating too easily, and it's throwing me off a little bit. But other than that, I think she looks pretty damn good. Here we have Miss Allison Hart-Burnett in all her glory. Like I said with Flint, I wish her greens were a little bit more brighter, because that's the version that I have from my childhood. Whereas right now, she's matching with the newer 375-inch that I have. And, but she does have her spear, she does have the knife and the camera, and she's got the backpack as well. I think she looks fantastic overall. But I would say that because I just love these action figures as a whole, and I really find faults with these things anyway, because for me it's all about just having these and just enjoying them. I tend not to get in the nitty gritty of things anyway, so it's a huge plus for me. And oh man, this is like bringing back so many memories. When I would play with these two specifically, and I would have them act as a couple or whatever, and I would put them in the Awe Striker together, or put them in the Devilfish together. Well, try to fit it anyway, or put them in the Vamp, and it's like oh, they're going on a date and they just took this armored Jeep for no reason. But here you can see both of these together, and it's like, oh my god, these guys look so amazing, and it's like, oh yes, just look at that. They have the attitude, they got the sass, and it's just like, yeah, they are matching so well. And actually in the video, Lady Jaye's green does look brighter than it actually is. Huh, tricks of the light and whatnot. But damn, it's like, look at these guys together. Her face is a little thinner than I would have expected. And there's actually a weird thing with her cap, where if you remove the cap, her hair is part of the cap. It's not the case for Flint. He's got his hair without his cap, but for her, it's part of it. So it's like, it's weird. Not that I would ever take it off, and in fact, I would probably just glue it shut, to be honest, because I don't want to lose that ever, and I'm not ever gonna change their heads or anything. So, one second. So, anyways, as you can see, I have the big couple of G.I. Joe, second only to my absolute favorite two characters, Snake Eyes and Scarlet. And here we have Warrant Officer Dashiell Fairborn and Covert Operations Specialist Allison Hart-Burnett. And it's like, yeah, looking damn good right now. And of course, they're matched by their smaller cousins, or smaller versions of themselves, so to speak. But yeah, this is actually a pretty good summary in the end, I feel. And I gotta say, I'm so in love with Classified. The scale is a little bit odd. It takes getting used to, especially with the price that these things come at. But I am like so super pumped to get on with more of these. So anyways, that's the unboxing for these guys. And you know, I've had them with all their options and whatnot, just to show everything off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show some of the other figures I have in the background right now, because I feel it would be good to see some other things I have. So as you can see, this is a mainframe. This is the Cobra Island Baroness with her awesome freaking looking bike. We got a bat, and I definitely have a lot more figures as well, you know, which you don't see here. And there's that special Lego that Hasbro does for G.I. Joe, although it's not actual Lego. They're just called construction sets. So it's faux Lego, you could say. And I'm gonna be doing a video on those as well. I recently built one of these construction kits, and I have quite a few thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, here is Flint and Lady Jaye in all their 3.75-inch and 6-inch glory. And you know, that's how we're gonna end this video. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's a little bit long, but thanks for sticking around. And I'm going to be bringing you guys more of this, and the background hill will probably change as I adjust it for the next video whenever I do it, hopefully soon. And we'll get cracking on that. So anyways, guys, see ya, have a good day, and keep on collecting. Cheers.